Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you another tag video. I was tagged by the lovely Lindsey over at Lindsey's Little Library to do this original tag that she created called Dilemmas of a Book Nerd. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into the questions. Okay, so dilemma number one is storage. How do you store and organize your books? Well, for the most part, all of my books are on these bookcases that you see behind me. I have 3 of them. And they each have 5 shelves. So, however, I have recently started to outgrow these shelves, and I bought myself one of those cute little library carts, book carts, like from Target. If I remember, I will try to link it down below, the one that I got. It was really cheap. It was only like 30 bucks, I think. Really easy to put together, and I have put some of my TBR books onto that cart. Ones that I want to get to like in the very, very near future, like by the end of the year. Yeah, so other than that though, that's pretty much where I keep all my books. I don't really have them scattered around the house, which is weird because you would think I would. But yeah, basically they're all like in this room, mostly on these bookcases behind me. And then as far as how I organize my books, right now, I try to switch it up, but right now I have it organized by genre. So like I have like, all my classics are grouped together, middle grade and YAs grouped together, and then I have like my horror, thriller, mysteries are all grouped together. All my Stephen Kings are for the most part together. I like to do it by genre because I just think I don't know, it's like funner that way. I've tried doing like alphabetically by author. I've tried doing the color thing. That drove me crazy. It looks beautiful, but like you're breaking up series and you're like, your authors aren't all together. I just don't really like that. So I try to do it by genre and then keep the authors also grouped together. And that seems to work the best for me. Dilemma number 2. Tracking. How do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? I use Goodreads quite a bit to track my reading progress throughout the year, so I can keep track of how many books I've read and also books that I want to read, especially like if I hear about a book like on another booktuber's video or on Instagram or something, I'll quickly add it to Goodreads before I forget about it. So yeah, I definitely use Goodreads. I also have, let me grab it really quick, I also have this old notebook, hold on. I also have this old green notebook where I actually still write down the books I've read. So like this is 2019 so far. I've almost filled 2 pages already because I'm reading like a fool lately. Yeah, so I started this notebook in 2010. And I've been writing down all the books I read in it ever since. Dilemma number 3, borrow. Do you lend your books out? I do, but I'm very picky about who I lend my books out to. It has to be someone that I trust and someone that I can hunt down if I need to, if they're holding on to the book for too long. Because I've had that happen so many times, like I'm sure many of you have, where you lend a book to somebody and for some reason they think that they can just keep it. Even though like you never said, here you can have this book, you said, here you can borrow this book, yet they never give it back. So disrespectful. So yes, I lend out my books, but I am particular about who I lend them out to, and I make sure that I get them back. Dilemma number 4, buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? I would say the majority of my books that I purchase, I buy used. I buy them at library sales or at thrift stores or like secondhand bookshops, that kind of thing. As far as new books go, new to me, well, new books, no, just new books in general. Book Outlet is a great source for new books on the cheap. I've gotten some great deals on Book Outlet, especially when they have a sale that you can stack on top of the good prices. It's pretty awesome. But for the most part, yeah, I go to library sales where I will get a hardcover book for like 50 cents. I mean, it's amazing. So I highly recommend that. If you don't mind gently used books, which I don't care, yeah, that's a great way to get books on the cheap. Dilemma number 5, comments. How do you respond to the "how do you read so much" comment or similar comments? I guess I basically answer the question with a question, like, how do you do the things that you love to do? It's pretty obvious. It's like, I really enjoy it, so I make time for it. Just like somebody that really enjoys crocheting will make the time to crochet, or somebody that really enjoys painting will find time within their schedule to do the things they enjoy. You know what I mean? You make time. So that's basically how I respond. I've said this before in other videos, like I don't have a lot of other hobbies that I take part in. Reading is like my major hobby. So yeah, when I have 10 minutes, that's what I'm doing. Like I'm picking up a book and I'm gonna read. Anytime I really have downtime, that's what I'm doing, because that's what I like to do in my spare time. So that's how I basically answer that question. Dilemma number 6, next book. How do you pick your next read? Typically I do monthly TBRs, as you guys know, and I tend to stick to them because I like to plan my reading. I just do. I think it's fun. So a lot of times in choosing the books I'm going to read for my TBR, it depends on like if I have a buddy read going on, or if I have a book that was sent to me that I want to review, which doesn't happen very often. But I will obviously like prioritize that book because I want to keep up my end of the bargain. You know, they sent me a book, so I need to read the book and review the book. So that will like be factored in also. And then other than that, it's basically just like my mood. Like if I'm like, oh, this book's kind of giving me vibes right now, like I feel like it's the right time to read this book, then that's what I kind of do. And usually if I pick a TBR in the beginning of the month, my feelings about it are not going to change in 30 days. So if I feel like reading it on May 1st, I'm still going to feel like reading it on May 20th or whatever, you know what I mean? So my mood doesn't fluctuate that much with my reading. So TBRs really work for me, and I really like planning them and sticking to them. It's one of like my favorite parts about reading. I know that sounds really strange. You'd think that my favorite part about reading would be actually reading, which it is, I mean, obviously, but I love to plan my reading also. I find that very enjoyable, and I know it's weird. Dilemma number 7, travel. How do you pick what books you bring on vacation with you? Typically, if I'm traveling, I will read whatever book I happen to be reading at the time, as long as it's not like a big chunker, because I don't want to like lug around. For example, like if I was reading like Gone with the Wind, I wouldn't want to like lug that around with me. Excuse me. I am battling a bit of a cold right now, so if I sound like nasally and bleh, it's because I am nasally and bleh right now because I have cold. So sorry about that. But yeah, I don't like to lug around the big chunkers. So I will, as long as it's not a big chunky book, I will bring whatever I'm currently reading. Then I will also bring my Kindle, because obviously like Kindles are perfect for traveling, because even if you're reading a big chunky book like Gone with the Wind, it doesn't matter because it's on your little Kindle. So yeah, that's when I definitely utilize my e-reader the most, is when we are going on vacation. Dilemma number 8, annotate. Do you write or highlight or mark up your books in any way? Not really. I kind of wish I did. I mean, there are books that I have like underlined passages because I found the writing to just be like amazing. An example that pops in my head right now is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I have underlined quite a few passages in that book because I just adore the writing in that book. I've also done it with a couple of my other favorites, like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I have annotated, but like the majority of the time, I just read the book and enjoy the book, because unless it's like something that like I really want to remember and really want to like stick out, I find that if I stop to take notes or to underline, that it like draws me back out of the book, and then I have to like sink myself back in. So a lot of times I like to just like dive in and stay in, and annotating kind of makes me go in and out. So I tend to not do it, but I wish I could, because I think it would make me a more critical reader. I mean, that's why a lot of people do it, but I just don't. Dilemma number 9, new or backlist. Which do you prefer, new releases or backlist books? For the most part, I'm a backlist girl. Not many books like excite me like right when they come out, unless it's an author that like I really love, that I'm like really looking forward to their next book. Gillian Flynn, when her new book comes out, you better believe I'm buying that book right away and reading that book right away. But otherwise, like if it's, I don't have a ton of like new releases that I'm like watching and waiting for and waiting. And I don't think I've ever pre-ordered a book ever. I just don't. So like new releases, because I think it's because I tend to want to kind of wait and see what other people think. Because I mean, new releases are expensive. You're talking like $25, $30 for a book, one book. So it's like, I want to make sure I'm really going to like that book. And like I said, I will do it for authors that like I really like. Like I've been doing it with Stephen King for the most part, his new releases. Although like when Elevation came out, was that last fall? I can't remember when that was. When I saw the book and it was like this big and it was still like $20, $25, I was like, no, that's too much. Even for you, Stephen King. I'm like, I'm not paying $25 for this little dinky book. So, I mean, I do like draw the line in some areas, but for the most part, I like backlist books because, again, I like to buy books secondhand and go to library sales and stuff, so you're not going to find new releases there. You're going to find backlist books, so that's what I tend to do. Most of my TBR, pretty much all of my TBR, is backlist, because even like I do book of the month, so I do get new releases through book of the month, but I read them right away. So yeah, I'm definitely more of a backlist person for sure. Dilemma number 10, sequels. Do you read books as they are released or wait for an entire series to be published before reading one book? It depends. I will read maybe like a first book and then kind of decide how I want to go about reading the series. Like, especially like if I, for example, first read the book on audio, like the first book, I listen to it on audio, I will tend to want to do the whole series that way. Same thing with like, for example, the Lunar Chronicles. When I read that, I read the first book in paperback, so I wanted to read the rest of the books in paperback, so I had to wait for Winter to come out in paperback, so I waited like I think a year or a year and a half maybe to read the last book because I was like, I'm not buying Winter in hardcover because I have the rest of them in paperback. So it depends on the series though. I kind of like the excitement of waiting for a book to come out in a series. Like I remember when Harry Potter, I binge read the first, I think 3 books. And so after that, it was like I had to wait for each one, and it was exciting to kind of like go to the bookstore on release night and like buy them and all that. Like I kind of like that, and I don't mind waiting a long time between series because I tend to do that anyway. Even if I, let's say, buy a whole series at once, I'm not going to read it straight through. I always read a few books in between just to kind of break it up. So it doesn't really matter to me, I guess. I guess it depends on the series, unless the series is like hella awesome, like I need to find out what happens like right now. I tend to like take my time with series anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, and that was the last dilemma. So now it says to tag people. So I've been seeing quite a few people already do this tag, so I'm not sure who's actually done it or who is planning on doing it, so I'm just gonna say, if you want to do this tag, you're tagged. This was really fun. I really like this because I like when we do tags that kind of focus on like how we read and just like our reading habits versus just like assigning books to certain questions and stuff. This is really fun. So thank you so much to Lindsey for tagging me. This was really fun. I will link her original video down below so you guys can check it out. And yeah, like I said, if you want to do this tag, please feel free to do it. I would love to see your answers. Let me know if you do it or have done it, because I would love to see what everybody's doing. And then obviously those of you that don't have channels, let me know down below in the comments how you would answer some of these questions, because I would love to hear your guys' answers as well. So yeah, other than that, that's all I have for today. I apologize again for my like hoarseness, weird stuffy nose thing I have going on right now, but I really wanted to get this tag out because I was really excited about it. So apologize for the sickness in my voice, but hopefully by the next video I will be all better. So yes, that's all I have. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.